Hello, Paul. It's really good to see you again. Remotely, of course, this time and under these extraordinary, circumstances.
As ever, great to see you. Welcome to my humble abode. I'm sorry we're not out in the open and having a coffee or maybe doing a speed test on your phone somewhere in 5G connectivity.
And Paul, how have the conversations with your customers have changed in the recent times?
I think a lot of uncertainty is flowing through their minds at the moment. It's just making sure that whatever they're having to do as an organization, they're adjusting to the demands that are being placed on them as organizations, but also making sure that this new way of living is going to be embraced in the right way by the people that they work with. So it's not just making sure that their business is commercially and operationally changing, but also making sure that the conversations that they're having with their staff, their employees, and their end customers as well are evolving in a way that makes sure that we're supportive and we're rising to the challenge and working through this together. And I think that the main change in the conversations is listening more to what the demands are. They're listening to us more, and we really are being really clear in the kind of advice and the guidance we're trying to give to support our customers through these difficult times. It's kind of less around the BAU and the traditional kind of way we transact. It's more around thought leadership. It's more around coming to us for best practice and us talking to our customers and getting their advice as well. And what do they need? What can we do to adapt to help support them in terms of what they need, in terms of what is on their mind? So really important in that respect.
To that point, I mean, as you said, working digital, working remote, is this crisis sort of heralding a whole new approach to remote working?
For me, it's around just being agile, being mobile, and able to support your workforce in a new way of working. Keeping connected and protected, making sure you have all the various different security and, as an organization, your corporate infrastructure remains intact with the relevant products and services, and ensuring that is, absolutely fundamental whilst making sure people can work.
So for the NHS, BT and Samsung have been working together in these, really extraordinary times. So with the COVID-19 breakout, the ICUs were really, having a lot of pressure and a lot of critically ill patients that were there. Supported by nurses, they couldn't communicate with their loved ones and family. We were contacted by guys in St. Thomas Hospital in a very senior level. So I got the call. Can you do something? We really want to have a means of communicating of our ICU patients and cannot be visited. They want to talk to the loved ones. They're critically ill. So important for them, and we just got mobilized. Now we contacted Samsung because we needed to get a communication system, basically tablets configured, and therefore we thought about working with Samsung at that moment so that we could provide that into the ICU in the best possible way. And Paul, we're right here talking about that, and we really like to get your experiences and the mobilizations that you did in order to come together and provide that sort of connected solution.
This particular example was fairly early on. Obviously, the restrictions were put in place by the government around the social distancing, so obviously challenging times for families to visit their loved ones in hospital. And I received calls from my contacts with my strategic relationship guys within BT, explaining the sensitivity of the requirement, having a request for some specific tablet devices that we needed to get in the hands of you guys to provision and put in the hands of those people who were gravely ill in hospital in Guy's and St. Thomas's. So fortunately, we already had a task force. As part of the process of that task force, we were already prioritising anything that was health related, whether it was in the UK or widely across all of Europe. And I think within not very long at all, it was a matter of days, we were able to ensure that those devices were with the technical teams in BT. We were on hand for any other technical support from our back office guys for our devices. Absolutely there, hand in glove, working with BT. When the solution was deployed, we had some feedback from my contacts within BT to say that the first patient had access to the tablet and they were talking to their loved one. And apparently the nurses, there was, people were emotional. It was a wonderful moment, a very sad moment in that person wasn't very well, but a wonderful moment that they were able to connect with the ones that they love. That is probably one of the most humbling pieces of feedback. And, I received, a picture of some of the communications that were happening to illustrate what had happened. The powerful nature of that moment was incredibly humbling. The collaboration of BT and Samsung in that instance was super impressive. Not surprised, because we have such a strong strong working relationships, strategic relationships. So the kind of thing you'd expect us to rise to the challenge. But I think the most important thing was, BT and Samsung aside, the right solution was deployed at the right time for those people. And now, that solution is now rolled out across Guy's and St. Thomas's. And, hopefully that solution won't have to be in place for much longer, right? This is a short-term thing to make sure we're doing the right thing for people that need it.
So, Paul, looking a little bit in the future, what are the ways that you think Samsung are supporting the customers first and will be supporting the customers?
It's looking to make sure that we are all equipped, not just as organizations, but as people, to make sure we can stay connected in new ways. And that's looking at new technologies. And I think there are things that are around today that we can leverage to make that happen. Cloud solutions and connectivity, and how we can, take maybe a smartphone and turn it into a desktop type environment. There's technologies that we have at Samsung that support our customers around that today. But beyond that, into the future, it's making sure that I think we can look at things like IoT and AI and future technologies, and then interacting with your fantastic 5G network to make sure people can stay connected. So I think that there's a lot of innovation that's still to be determined, and there's a lot of good stuff that's work in progress. Working together for us, for example, as strategic partners, to help come up with new ideas, to bring new things to market, to help innovate, to help make sure people stay connected. So whenever there is a need for people to be working from home, and God forbid it's going to be in a way like we're experiencing now, but at least there are those options to make sure organizations can see the benefits of making sure that people can stay connected in different ways.
These experiences, what advice would you give to others as they look at this sort of digital transformation, especially now going into the future?
What we will see, from my perspective, is probably an escalation and a rapid pace of change. It's kind of given everyone a bit of a wake-up call. A massive world that we live in, lots of people. We can feel very, very small, very, very quickly when something like this comes in from left field. And I think it's a case of making sure that customers and people who are creating the right strategies to make sure that the businesses are operating the right way will look at how they can move forward more quickly in the digital workplace, so that they can look at ways of being agile and just changing and transforming the way we work. The likes of yourselves with your connectivity from fixed line capabilities to 5G, and our capabilities from cloud-based solutions to our smartphone devices. But I think there'll be a real emphasis for people who are going to be in senior positions in organizations to come up with those strategies that move the digital transformation conversation forward at a rapid pace. Sort
of period towards the the beginning of the second half of March, started to see an incredible amount of growth in our data usage. So we're seeing growth of 250% in data, let's say, end of March, if I may say, versus beginning of March. I mean, connectivity is part of every industry now, and it's going to be transforming the way that processes were conducted for many decades. And I see that in just a few days, right? We managed to see a massive sort of transformation in the way people work and the conducting their business in a collaborative way across many locations, and remote working and video. And we as technologists, it's not just about the technology itself or the as a means, but it's actually the outcomes. And probably we would need to create more and work much more with our customers to think a little bit higher in the value chain, that how connectivity can actually fix processes that have been working in a specific way, maybe not in the best way, and maybe now we can co-create and create more outcome-based services together with our customers.
I think one of the things it'll help a number of organizations who are either looking at modernizing the way they operate from a traditional way of working to more of this kind of virtual cloud, digital transformation, digital workplace. And I think, again, this whole experience will probably be a tipping point for a lot of those organizations to modernize and to kind of move exponentially forward from how they operate today. And I think they may be leveraging some remote working, or there may be some technologies that are injected into that way of working. But I think for some companies, it will revolutionize the way they operate. And I think, I think that's really, really encouraging, and I think it can only be a good thing for the future. So I look forward to seeing how that unfolds.
Absolutely, been a lot of legacy infrastructure that kept a lot of industries and a lot of verticals away from being more efficient. I think as you said, cloud, connecting the cloud with connectivity and 5G, immediately we're seeing this rapid sort of transformation and facilitating the way that products and services will be produced and consumed. On the security side, we just have to be slightly cautious because a lot of people are working from home. So how is Samsung dealing with security?
Making sure that not only the security of individuals and the devices they use is of paramount importance, but also protecting the infrastructure, helping organizations make sure that their infrastructure and their ecosystems are protected as well. We have Solution Enterprise Edition, which is the ability to remotely manage, deploy, and configure phones and tablets across organizations. You can do that at scale. It's also protecting the device, making sure you can remote lock and wipe to make sure that if any compromise to data or someone getting the hands of a device and the wrong person, we have solutions that we're supporting through partnerships with the likes of yourselves to make sure that they can be activated and data and security is all secured at the same time. I think talking about working in the cloud, being able to access all your data and applications and projects from home is really important. Our devices, our smartphone devices, has a Samsung DeX enabled, which effectively with a cable you can connect from your smartphone to a monitor, and you can effectively turn your virtual desktop that would be from your Microsoft apps from the cloud into a desktop environment. So effectively the phone becomes almost a laptop. But ultimately it's making sure that the solutions from our side, from your connectivity, all come together to make sure that we're creating a very secure ecosystem that customers can be reassured that whilst they're working in a different way, everything is secure and locked down as it would be if they're in their office environment.
Paul, really, it's been great to be here with you today, and thank you so much for your time. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
As ever, a pleasure speaking with you, Fotis. And yeah, let's make sure next time we meet is face to face. We can grab a coffee and have a conversation. But no, thanks for your time today, and thanks for being there as ever. And we look forward to catching up soon. Take care.